Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Now to right and deep. Calhoun back, and that's gone. And it's 11-0.
Today is April 13th, 2023, and the Yankees were taking on the Twins in the first game of their longest homestand of the season, and it got ugly in a hurry. My recap, your reactions, whatever.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Hey guys, before we go any further, I got to take a second to thank tonight's sponsor, Game Time. I'll tell you what, trying to get tickets at the last second has always been a nightmare. Someone says, hey, we should go catch the game tonight, or hey, my favorite band is playing in town next weekend. But thankfully, there's a great app for last-minute ticket deals. Game Time has the deals right up until the day of the event. It's the fastest growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Download the Game Time app and use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. That's NYY Recaps, no spaces, for $20 off on the Game Time app. Lowest price on last minute tickets guaranteed. You guys okay? That was a tough one. Ashlyn, getting the night started off right with the comment of the night. Says, IKF pitched better than Brito tonight. Poor thing. That's tough. This game will not be featured on Yankees Classics anytime soon. So you guys are officially, in my opinion, the hardest core of the hardcore fans to tune into a game or a recap of a game like that. That game was exciting for approximately 30 seconds. One of the most embarrassing games in recent memory. This is up there with that no-hitter against the Astros last year. You know, the combined no-hitter. But it's not quite the worst game I've seen. Worst one I've seen was August 31st, 2004. Cleveland Indians beat the Yankees 22-0 that night. Omar Vizquel was 6 for 7, and Jake Westbrook just made the Yankees look silly that night. In the grand scheme of things, it's just a regular season game. Doesn't matter if you lose 2-1 or if you lose 11-2. There's going to be games like this that you win, and there's going to be games like this that you lose. It's just part of baseball. But we do not get the fun hat tonight. I felt like the top of the first inning tonight was just kind of the universe evening things out for all the times we've beaten the Twins over the years. I think we're 5-0 in the division series against them in the last 20 years or so. And we beat him in the wild card game. And then in 2009, there was that streak of walk-offs that pretty much began with, I think, 3 walk-offs in a row against Minnesota. And so they've always been kind of a punching bag. But tonight, Peter McNeely hits back. They just destroyed the Yankees. This was a total domination. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have got 10 runs in the first inning. Instead of 9. 9-run top of the first inning, including back-to-back-to-back home runs. First pitch was at 7:07. Johnny Brito was a distant memory by about 7:15. And look, if you believe in the many worlds quantum theory, there's a chance that that inning is still going on somewhere. There's also a reality where the Yankees maybe came back and won. But unfortunately, we don't live in that reality. We live in the one where Franchi Cordero, team leader in home runs so far, tried to bunt down 11-0 in the third inning. I get it. You want base runners, but trying to bunt down 11-0 was a funny thing to see. Oh man, Lori C says IKF for the belt, and you know what? He might not get one this year, so we're gonna help my man out. I think by pitching a scoreless inning and just giving us something else to look, I think he's done it. Shout out to Lori C for that one. We're first ever belt and a loss, because this was almost a funny loss. It was so bad. This was one of those ones that was almost comical how poorly the Yankees played tonight. You know, when it was 11-0 in the third inning, at that point I was thinking maybe we could get somebody in the Bronx to, you know, pull the plug to the stadium or something. You know, maybe a little bolt of lightning from the gods to take out a power transformer or something. The baseball gods watching this abomination of pitching. You know, a little power outage would have been nice. Wouldn't have to sit through the last 21 outs or so. You know, Johnny Brito fell behind a lot in his previous outing, but he managed to pitch his way through it. Tonight, you saw what happens when the wheels fall off a rookie. It was a first-round knockout. Hitting the canvas like Michael Spinks. It was ugly. I'd love to be able to give you a better breakdown, but the Twins just hit everything Brito threw up there like they knew it was coming. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did know. Rizzo homered in the bottom of the fourth, second Decker, so that cut the lead to 10 runs. That was cool. Didn't help. It was like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. IKF, as we mentioned, pitched the ninth inning. He was throwing 67 miles an hour, or roughly full speed for him. To his credit, he worked a scoreless inning and now has a 0.0 career ERA. Good man, getting the belt. Rizzo went deep again. Another Band-Aid in the ninth. 3 home runs on the year now for him. But not much else to say. Yankees get demolished. I'm way behind on the comments. Lewis says, at least Gallo wasn't part of this blowout. That would have made it way worse. Yeah.
I hardly agree.
That would have been awful. If Gallo had gone deep in the first inning, that would have ruined my night. That would have ruined my... KDM says, IKF should stick to pitching. Junior Caroma says, what a nightmarish game. There's going to be games like this throughout the course of the season. I mean, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. I can't believe we're only 7 minutes into the recap. I feel like I've been talking for 20 minutes. Osuji says, I feel like I was watching an MLB The Show simulation. That's what I was thinking when it was home run after home run after home run. By the way, I'd like to point out we've got some wisdom up on the board tonight. For those of you who are listening and not watching, it says, trying is the first step towards failing. Unknown. Got a super chat from Stone Cold, says, can't see all the games live. Thankful for Derek and the channel. I appreciate it. Bomber says, Twins need to be piss tested. Yeah, I don't know, man. They were just on fire tonight. They were hitting everything hard. But, I mean, there was a lot of pitches right down the middle. Honestly, it was batting practice for them. And, you know, there's an old saying in baseball that hitting is contagious. I do think there's something, you know, kind of like a mental thing when all your teammates are hitting, you go up there feeling confident that this pitcher doesn't have much. And it makes the hardest thing to do in sports, hitting a baseball, just feel a little bit easier. Anyway, Judge's streak got snapped 45. But still, nice job by Judge. Andrew Calabria says, Brito still better than Schmidt. I think they might actually give Brito another start. Yeah, this was a tough one, but he had 2 good ones in a row. You just hope that this is just a blip on the radar. I do worry, as I mentioned, that he might have been tipping his pitches a little bit. I mean, they were just too comfortable off of him. He had nothing. FG says, Mama said there'd be games like this. I can't sing. I'm sorry. Anyway. Eric C. says, ouch, quite the beating to begin the homestand. Yeah, that's not what you want to begin the homestand. You want to get off to a good start. Now you're putting your series win streak in jeopardy because you got to win 3 in a row. It's really tough to win 4-game series. Do you guys even want to look at the box score? The box score is ugly tonight, but we'll take it. We'll take a gander. Yankees had just 4 hits. You see 13 hits for the Twins. Big 9 spotted in the first inning. Unreal. The only 2 runs courtesy of Anthony Rizzo, who had a great night. 3 of the Yankees' 4 hits. He had 75% of the Yankees' hits tonight. And Volpe picked up a hit tonight. He's still hitting just 158 and having a tough start. 493 OPS. You hope he turns it around soon. Get a couple of hits to get his confidence going. I think he might go deep in this series. Brito's ERA went from 0.90 to 6.75 in 34 pitches. Ouch. Colton Brewer went 3 1/3 innings. He didn't fare much better. Hamilton actually did a really nice job. I got to give Hamilton a round of applause. 3 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts, 2.08 ERA on the season so far. Get that Slambio working. Cordero worked a scoreless inning, and IKF throwing that first ever scoreless inning. Pete wants me to go 30 minutes tonight. I don't know how you can make 30 minutes out of that. That's I don't know how you did it for 3 hours, or actually I think the game time was 2 hours and 20 minutes tonight, according to Brian Hope. 2 hours and 20. So at least it was quick. You know, that 22-0 game. Somebody can look up the time of game for that one. That one seemed like it was just going forever. I can think of some bad losses in my life. In fact, let's use tonight. Tell us your worst Yankee losses of all time, and we'll just share old war stories. I'd have to say the worst I ever saw. There's 2 ones that stick out more than others. Obviously, there's a 2001 World Series, the walk-off from Luis Gonzalez to win the World Series for the Diamondbacks. Yankees had rallied in that series. They were down 2-0. You had those 2 big dramatic home runs from Tino and Scott Brocious. And then Andy Pettitte got absolutely drubbed in Game 6 of that World Series. Game 7's an all-time pitching matchup, Schilling versus Clemens, and they were dueling the whole game. Soriano got a late splitter. It was just hung up a little bit, and I think it must have been the top of the 8th, and that put the Yankees up. He hit a home run. Mariano worked a great 8th inning, but then blew it in the 9th. And that was the end of the dynasty. The other one that sticks out is the 2004 ALCS Game 7, when the Red Sox were down 3-0 in that series, and they stormed back, and they won 3 somewhat improbable victories in games 4, 5, and 6 to force a Game 7. And then Kevin Brown had nothing in Game 7, and then Javier Vasquez came in and threw some gas on the fire. And before you knew it, Red Sox were up like 6 or 7-0. It was over quick. And they just dragged the Yankees around the field for a couple of hours. That one was tough. Damian Stewart says they got spanked by the Indians in 2009. I believe when the Yankees opened up the ballpark in 2009, it was maybe a 10-3 game that the Indians won. I remember Posada hit the first home run. Landon says 2019 ALCS Game 6 walk-off. That was tough. The worst part was Aroldis Chapman's face afterwards, just watching him. Just slightly amused. He didn't care. By the way, he's throwing 103 right now. What the hell's up with that? Oh, man. Let's see here. Joe Higashi says 97 playoff loss versus Cleveland was a tough one. Yeah, let's revisit that one. So they had won the World Series in 96. And Jarrett Wright pretty much killed them in 97 in that series. And then there was a late home run off of Rivera by Sandy Alomar Jr. opposite field. It was a high fastball, high cutter, and he just kind of tomahawked it and hit it out of the ballpark. That one stung. The 95 ALDS was tough, too. It was Mattingly's last series. The Yankees jumped up 2-0. You had the great walk-off home run in the 15th inning. By then, at that point, they didn't call it walk-off home run. They just called it a game-winning home run. And that was Jim Leyrit's 15th inning. And then you go to Seattle, and Seattle just dominated the Yankees over the next couple of games. Wetland got bombed for a grand slam. And then that last game, I believe the Yankees were up late in the game, and they blew it again tough bullpen losses are always the toughest one for me. Sam G says, new fans will never know the pain of the 2004 ALCS. That was tough. Scripted Network says, 10-year-old me watching Johnny Damon hit that grand slam put me in my first heartbreak. I remember that like it was yesterday. I got so many voicemails and phone calls because everybody knew I was a Yankees fan, and I live in an area where there's not many Yankee fans. Most people just hate the Yankees down here. And I just got tons and tons of voicemails and messages, just people talking so much smack. And that just made it so much worse because I couldn't say anything. It was like, yeah, we blew it. 3-zip and we blew it. You just got to wear it. Anyway. UT with the conspiracy theory says Chapman might be juicing up a little bit to bring that heat back. Andrew Calabria says 2017 ALCS after finding out about the trash cans. You know, the trash can thing didn't bother me. I mean, it bothers me that it happened, but it didn't make the loss any worse for me because it's like, it was over. You're not going to go back and replay it. Half the team had been gone by that point. It's just like, you just felt extra mad, extra salty about it. But the heartbreak of losing was tough. There's something about, an up-and-coming team with all sorts of energy and all these young players, and you had the thumbs down, and you had Didi with big hits, and you had Flava Flav out there. Tommy Kahnle was, at his peak, essentially. That team really did feel like they had the energy of a team that could win the World Series and come from out of nowhere. Yeah, just didn't get it done. 2010 was actually tough. The Yankees had won it in 2009, and I felt like, they had a good shot in 2010. But Josh Hamilton went absolutely berserker for the Rangers and carried them to victory. Jack Wells says, Game 5, 2018 ALDS to the Red Sox. That one was tough. Yeah, the 2018 ALDS was a rough one. Boone's first series as Yankees manager. And did not go very well. You hate losing to the Red Sox anytime, but in the postseason, it's especially tough. Anyway, we got 281 people here telling war stories. Sam G says, who's the starting pitcher for tomorrow? It is Nasty Nestor Cortez Jr.
Game over, man. Game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Take a few more comments. Andrew says 2020 versus the Rays wasn't terrible. Still hurt though. Yeah, that one was no good. But that team, you didn't feel like was all that great that year. They couldn't really put it together after COVID. And Garrett Cole was, he was good in that series, but other than that, they didn't hit. I don't think they had any pitching other than Cole in that series. Who did they have? They had J Happ pitched a little bit. Davey Garcia. I feel like pitching was the issue. I can't even remember it right now. I'm too tired from watching that drubbing. Anyway, Jesse Dominguez says, if Judge and Stanton get hot, the Yankees will have a good chance to win a lot of ball games, and I agree. There's always tomorrow. Turn the page. Close the book. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. Probably won't even be the last time this season that the Yankees get demolished. And yes, Stanton did break out the long pants tonight. It always makes him look so much taller, because he is 6'6", right? And Mike to AC Merch says the Midge game. Yeah, Jabba was unhittable that year, and essentially he just fell apart in that playoffs. And yeah, the Midges were partially to blame, but Joe Torre said one of his big regrets, and I agree with him, was that he should have pulled his team off the field. The conditions were just bad. And we got some hope that Nasty Nestor will dominate tomorrow. He is 2-0. He's been pitching great. I have every expectation he would be great tomorrow. This game should not have affected him at all. I'd be surprised if he even hung around for the whole thing, honestly. He probably did. But a lot of times the starting pitcher for the next day will, take off a little bit early, whatnot. But anyway, tomorrow's another game, and I'll see you after it. Also, we're going to have a weekly recap with Pete and Frankie following the recap, so tune in for that as well. See you next time.
Hey everybody, If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed. Ball game over.
Most impressive.